Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to a very personal Sunday motivational video. Growing up poor, you look up to those with money because you see them as free from the chains of poverty. After figuring out the game of money, it took roughly 8 years for us to go from zero to our first million. Because of our background, you get a very different perspective on money than those who grew up with it. It took us becoming multimillionaires to see how the world around you changes in behavior depending on your perceived wealth. And since there's no other resources online talking about this, today we're sharing what we learned firsthand. No sponsors, just you and us. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Here are 15 things having money teaches you about other people. Hope it helps. Number 1. Money validates you in their eyes. In the collective mindset, money shows ability. Money pre-qualifies you when you enter a room. The rich will allow you to sit at the table because there's a common understanding that everyone around is able to pull their own weight. The poor see you as all-competent and all-knowing just because you have money. Your words carry more value and they tend to agree with you more, even if you're speaking outside of your area of expertise. He's rich, so he must know what he's talking about. This is a dangerous slope to navigate. Stay humble and focus on where your ability can move the needle forward for everyone involved. Number 2. When you have money, you see how high the stakes are for people around you. When you have money, you get to sit down behind the curtain. You see how other rich people move, how they act, what kinds of deals they make, and how they're able to connect the dots. The truth is, the rich are constantly stressed out, as they're always working on something new. It's exciting to them, but it requires focus because it's not just their wealth at stake, it's also all the people relying on the project to work out. When you have a front row seat to both worlds, several distinctions become clear between the rich and the poor. The rich are always focused on bigger and bigger deals and new ideas. The poor, on the other hand, have little at stake. For them, there's nothing new happening. They always complain about the same things: the job, the bills, the neighbors, the government. It's the same narrative over and over again. Number 3. Everybody has a price, even you. We're all thinking we can't be bought, but the truth is, even with money, you still choose how you wish to trade your time and what the exchange rate for that transaction is. We all have 24 hours in a day, but our time isn't valued the same. When you get really good at something, people are willing to pay you for what your time is worth. A couple of weeks ago, an investment fund we're on the board of offered us a multi-7-figure deal to join the fund full-time. We worked so hard to buy ourselves the freedom to do anything we want in life, but it honestly kept us up at night thinking about it. It's fascinating how you think you don't have a price, but if the offer is on the table and it's high enough, you're considering it. It was a very revealing experience for us. We respectfully declined because we have a long way to go with Alux and our vision for the future. We're here for the long haul, Aluxers, so make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel because we've got big plans coming up. Number 4. Some people won't close the gap, so you have to leave them behind. Here's something you'll learn about your friends when you start making money. In the beginning, you all start out at the same level. As your life progresses, you keep moving up while they remain down. There are only 2 ways to close the gap. The first one is for you to go down, which means losing the progress you've worked so hard to achieve, which is out of the question. The second one is for them to rise up and close the gap from the bottom. You can help them do it if they're willing, but if they do not have the desire to close it, the gap will keep on increasing as you go on to become more than you are now. At one point, you just have to leave them behind. Number 5. Once you have it, money is overrated, but they don't know it. It took us getting everything we dreamed of to realize things are just things. Okay, hear us out. The moment you no longer have to chase it, the magic goes away. It's an important distinction to be made here. Sure, the paid-off home dramatically increased our comfort compared to when we were renting a shitty place. Yes, the SUV is safer and more comfortable, but there's a threshold of pleasure that once you achieve it, more of something doesn't give you more pleasure. The current level of comfort becomes your standard. We're incredibly grateful for everything we have, but a bigger penthouse or an even more expensive car won't alter the quality of our life. It's called the law of diminishing returns. Ironically, now that we have money, we spend most of our time doing things that are free, like walking in the park, reading, and spending quality time with friends and family. Money won't buy happiness, but it allows you to enjoy the things that make you happy. Number 6. People want the outcome, the secret to your wealth, not the process. People who don't have money think you know a deep secret that no one else does, that you're privileged to access to closed meetings, to unfair advantages. It's how they justify the gap between you and them by no fault of your own. We learned how to start a business and invest money from books and events. There wasn't an Alux.com when we started out, so we built it for people just like us. Here, we have everything we learned and experienced for free on YouTube. People don't believe us when we say we share everything here. We posted our stock portfolio, our crypto portfolio, how we structure our real estate investments, and how we negotiate our deals. Newsflash, the process is out in the open. Anything you want to do in life, there's someone out there who did it already and documented the process. For the first time in history, we all have access to the same information and roughly the same tools. It's now a matter of discipline, focus, and putting in the work. Number 7. They think money solves all your problems and treat you as such. This is actually a very valid point if you've experienced poverty firsthand. When we were poor, money would have solved all of our problems in our life because every problem was a money problem for us. The thing is, there's a variety of problems you're not aware of when you're struggling to put food on the table or keep the lights on. Urgency trumps death in the hierarchy of perceived problems, right? It took us solving our money problems to realize just how stressed we are, just how fragile our health is, and how we neglected it in the process of building wealth. Poor people struggle with happiness, with purpose, with depression, with genuine relationships just as much as poor people struggle with paying the bills. You barely stay afloat. The downside to being well off is you can't bitch to anybody about it because you sound like a privileged brat. But these are deep problems that cannot be ignored. People assume once you have money you no longer have any other problems, and they treat you as such. Number 8. People are embarrassed by their lack of money. We like to keep our wealth to ourselves, but news travels fast, and since you don't tell them the numbers, people always assume unlimited amounts of wealth. Whenever meeting with extended family, they feel ashamed or embarrassed by their living conditions, despite us growing up and sharing the same plate of food with all of our cousins, for example. Money just reveals more of who you are. If you were an a-hole before the money, you're probably an even bigger one now. To be honest, the theatrical part of money is a bummer. We'd pick beers with people we vibe with any day over fancy wine with rich snobs that have no depth. Number 9. When you disagree with them, they will always say money changed you. The truth is, the person you are today is different than the person you were 10 years ago. For us, in order to become the person worthy of the wealth, we had to continuously evolve, grow, learn, and mold ourselves into something we're proud of. You know we love Jay-Z, so here's a quote from him that knocks the point out of the park. "People look at me strange, say I've changed, like I've worked that hard to stay the same. We worked hella hard to become the person we are today because nobody gave it to us, and probably nobody will hand it to you either." Listen closely, for this is quite valuable. Growth and evolution don't sit well with those who benefited from you serving them. When you focus on yourself instead of them, they'll say you changed. Personally, we noticed this with the family, which, although we respect and love, used to have a bit too much control or input into what we wanted to do with our lives. The moment we freed ourselves from them, the moment we took our life into our own hands and became successful, they said we changed. We still take care of them and enjoy spending time with them, but they no longer have the same level of control over us. When the chains of control are no longer part of the equation, all you're left with is who you are as a human being. That's where you figure out if you like each other being true to who you really are. Number 10. If you choose the right partner, the money is fine, but you're still grounded. A quality partner makes all the difference, especially if they were walking up the stairs along with you. If they experienced hardships alongside you, there's no way either of you is taking this little bit of success you have right now for granted. You keep each other grounded. They're your one source of truth. They're often the only ones able to call you out on your bullshit. You see, when you have money, people tend to default to yes in relation to what you ask of them. While you're poor, they default to no. But this puts you in a fragile situation where you become surrounded with yes men. You enjoy always being right and in their good graces, but it can become blinding, and you need focus if you're going to win this game over the long term. At the end of the day, it's just the two of you lying in that bed together. Make sure they're the right person. Number 11. The poor are emotionally attached to money, while the rich see it as a game. When we were poor, we never really understood the way rich people treat money. It was bizarre to us that some people would spend more on a car than the entire cost of the house we were renting. The idea of spending so much money feels weird internally. When you're poor, money is emotional. You cry because of money. Lack of money makes you unhappy. And don't get us wrong, even today when we can afford it, spending anything that's more than twice what we used to spend back in the day still feels weird. But now we understand the game. Rich people see money as monopoly money. It's all part of a game, and here's the only rule that if you know and follow, you'll be rich for the rest of your life. Are you ready? Here it is. You can buy anything you want in life if your investment is paying for it. Let me put it in simpler terms. If you want to buy a car, buy an apartment instead, and use the money you get from renting out the apartment to pay for that luxury car. If you've ever played the game of Monopoly, you know you're using the money from the rent to buy more and more properties to grow your fortune. We love that game. As a matter of fact, in the description and top comment, we'll leave a link to Amazon so you can buy yourself a Monopoly board game this holiday season. It's only $10 plus shipping or whatever. Order it today and we want you to play it, but this time through the lens of real-life decisions. It'll be worth more than reading 5 or 10 books on money. You're welcome. Number 12. The more money you have, the more you want to be left alone. Something weird happened as our wealth increased. We're a mix of introverts and extroverts. As we said, we like hanging out with people we vibe with, but that's where we draw the line. Generally, these days we want to be left alone. Ideally, we'd like to be invited everywhere and pick if we want to go or not. We don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it's where we're at right now. Money gives you the superpower of saying no. We love saying no to things that would make us miserable. We still say yes to things that are important to the people we care about, but kicking it with your close ones allows you to be yourself and have your guard down. Nobody will pitch you their new business idea. Nobody's going to ask you where to invest $10K. There's a distinction between work and personal time, and as your wealth grows, you become a lot more aware of the value of personal time. Number 13. Everyone will overcharge you for anything. Something we experienced firsthand when we were furnishing our new home is that people are like sharks. They smell blood in the water, and it's not like you can hide from your contractor the fact that you've got money, so they're charging you extra for everything. You can nitpick and negotiate everything to the bone if you have to, but there are different bargains you have to account for. Because your time is more important than the difference they're charging, you're willing to pay the extra bit just to get it over with. This gets optimized if you're able to pay a project manager to take care of all these negotiations on your behalf. Here's a super valuable rule that became a staple in our relationship with everyone. We're willing to pay twice the price for 5 times the quality. Quality products are expensive, so don't bargain the price. Instead, demand quality. Your net will be positive and you'll be pleased with the trades you make. Number 14. Most people won't know you're rich unless you advertise it. Want to hear something crazy? You walk by rich people every day and don't even know it. It's a cultural thing to assume that once you make money you want to flaunt it, but that's not actually how it is. Once you get over that initial desire to buy all the things you couldn't afford before, we call these the wounds of poverty. You no longer feel the need for all that flashy stuff, so you go about your day normally. Yeah, the clothes and shoes are of a higher quality, but you don't feel like a walking billboard. True wealth doesn't want the attention, you just want to go about your day. Most people can't tell the difference between a $100 and $15,000 watch. They might recognize the brands if they get close enough, but that's not the case too often. So yeah, unless you scream it out to the world, most people won't know or care that you're rich. They've got their own things to care about. Number 15. People are eager to do you favors. You're no longer transacting in money. Instead, it's in favors, clout, and network. Do you have time for coffee to look over what we're doing at my company? Can you introduce me to so-and-so? These become the norm. There's an unspoken contract between parties where, if I help you with this, you have to come back with something of at least the same value. This is how the rich grow wealth together, and if we knew this earlier, it would have taken us half or just a third of the time to get to the level we are at today. Your goal in life is to get specialized knowledge. Simply put, be really, really, really good at one thing and then trade that skill in for everything you need to get what you want. Here's a personal example. One of our friends is a well-known architect, and he's also an investor in a liquor business. We helped him transition his company from office to digital, and now he does more in online sales than his brick-and-mortar stores. We didn't ask for a percentage or a share of anything because we're friends, but that's where the side benefits come in. A few months pass, and our friend brings us an amazing real estate deal that he had access to through his architectural company. Learn to trade favors based on specialized skills. You'll build wealth twice as fast and create powerful friendships along the way. Having money taught us a bunch of lessons about people, and it makes us value those who we allow in our inner circle the most. So we want to pass the question on to you. For those of you who made a little bit of progress in life, what did having money teach you about the people around you? We really appreciate those of you taking the time to provide value to the community in our comment section, and we can't wait to see what you've learned. As for those of you watching until the very end, of course, there's a bonus coming. Measure your wealth only in unearned income. As long as you have to work for money, you're not wealthy. We don't care how much money you earn, as long as you have to keep showing up and delivering, you're not there yet. That's how you transition from being rich to being wealthy. This feeling you have inside of you will only go away when you no longer need to do anything. It's only then will you do things based on your own desire. If you figured out how to make $1, you can figure out how to make $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. You have to make the money, not earn the money. That's a crucial distinction. Making the money implies the creation of a system, of a machine, of a business, of a side hustle that generates income on your behalf with your supervision. Earned income implies you have to work hard to get it. Here's the trick that those who don't stick until the end will never know. Money has the power to make more of itself. You just have to know how. If you can get yourself up to $400,000 in investable cash, there are safe and low-risk instruments out there like the S&P 500 that historically have brought in a 10% return on a yearly basis. Some years it's less, some years the economy is booming and you get 20 to 30%, but it averages out to about 10%. With $400,000 invested, that means your money is earning you $40,000 a year. The average income in the United States, as of making this video, is $31,000 a year. Half of the US population is earning less than $31,100 per year while working. If you get to $1 million, that's over $100,000 per year. These people no longer need to work because their money is making so much money on their behalf. Want to hear something even crazier? As of the end of 2021, there's approximately 56 million millionaires in the world. We're not sure the mind can comprehend just how many people can simply choose to not work and live a very comfortable life. 56 million millionaires. The year is coming to a close, and we've never seen so much abundance of money flooding every market. We're witnessing probably the biggest opportunity to build wealth history has ever seen. This is your freaking decade. We don't care where you're from. We don't care what school you've been to or what job your parents have. Everyone who's committed to making money will build wealth before this decade is over. Take this period over the holidays to set your affairs in order and put together a game plan before the year comes to a close. You're smart enough to realize just how big this economic shift is, and you actually have all the tools you need to take advantage of it. If you're ready for the wealth games to begin, write START in the comments. Let's see who's joining us.